Many of us in the LGBTQ community grow up in environments that aren't particularly nice. In a process called mirroring, what happens is we express who we are. The world judges us and our behavior, and then they feed it back to us as either positive or negative feedback. What happens in a homophobic or a transphobic society is an LGBTQ person begins to say, I am a whole being. But part of me is being described as clean, and part of me is being described as dirty. There's the intelligent part, the forgiving part, the thoughtful part, the creative part. But there's also a part of me that loves in this direction, that finds the same gender attractive, that desires sexual intimacy in a certain way. But as these two parts of self begin to travel further and further away from one another, we begin feeling very split in half. Some of us describe living a double lifestyle. Others of us live compartmentalized lives. And essentially what we're saying is, this part of me is clean, and this dirty part, I must tuck it away so that no one can see it. And then when the lights turn off and no one's looking, I can silently swap out and let some people see this part, or I can at least express this part of who I am, but only in secret. Many of us live among society living this disintegrated way of being. This professional part of me, this relational part of me, this religious part of me is very clean. I'm intelligent and creative, I behave appropriately, but this part of me, this sexual orientation, this sexual yearning, this relational version of intimacy, this way of holding who I am within my own body feels so dirty. And I have to live in this disintegrated way of being. For many of us, we ask ourselves, what does it take for these parts of self to begin traveling back towards one another? Not so that I can cover one up or begin swapping out in a better way, this compartmental life, but in a way that I begin feeling integrated, that I can be creative and responsible and professional and hardworking and loving, and express my gender identity and my sexual orientation in a way that brings equality with who I am. That one is not more superior, that one is not inferior than another, but that I can equally celebrate all parts of me. This is a really good question. How do we become integrated beings? There's a couple of things here. The first part that we have to realize is that the beautiful part, or the clean part, isn't actually the only clean part. We may parade it around the world and around society as though this is what brings us value, but we have to understand that this really isn't the breadwinner. In the same way, we have to identify the reasons, the evidence, the data that taught us that this was dirty, and we have to begin reclaiming it and reorganizing it. My version of love is beautiful. My yearnings for sexual intimacy are clean. My version of relational intimacy is a beautiful demonstration of my version of love. And when we recategorize this dirty part of self as clean and beautiful that deserves equality, both parts of self become integrated, and we re-enter society fully celebrating who we are.